Hey guys, Paul here from Meldrum Performance Coaching and the Complete Personal Trainer podcast. So, on today's episode, I want to talk about how to handle a situation where a client needs to have everything right before they do anything, before they make a change. So, until this thing is done, they're not going to do this. Until that thing is done, they're not going to do this. This is an excuse that, when we first look at it, it makes sense. Okay, cool. You want to focus on your fitness after you deal with this, or you want to deal with this, you want to deal with whatever it is that's going on, then you're going to give your full attention to it. I have one client in particular who I'm working with at the moment, and what's happening in their particular situation is they're not exercising until they've dealt with a couple of health issues. Now, unfortunately, along with the health issues that they've also got some musculoskeletal issues that will respond really well to training. And this person, I've been working with them for a number of years. For the person who's probably thinking it is, it's not you, it's another person. You're all very similar. They have always put exercise on the back burner, like not even attempting to do it, until they've got a whole bunch of different physiological systems sorted out and working optimal. Now, the reality of that is that exercise helps physiological systems work at their best possible capacity. So it's really, really important to be able to get your clients actually doing something to improve their physiology with exercise. So waiting until your supplement protocols worked or you've had treatment and all that kind of stuff, that kind of approach never really works in the long run. I've never seen anyone successfully do this because waiting until all your ducks in a row before you take action and before you do something, it just keeps on pushing that finish line further and further away. It's the same thing in business. I'll post on social media when I've mastered I've mastered my field, the thing that I want to do before I start sharing my knowledge with people. That's not really going to help anyone. It's not really going to help yourself either because there's always something more to find. The more you learn about a field, the harder it gets because you go, oh my God, there's even more I don't know. It just keeps on expanding exponentially. So what you want to do when you're working with a client in this situation, because this is the most important thing, to give you guys something that you can actually use today with clients who are going through the same situation. Have a talk to the client and say permission to give feedback. So this is a really important thing to do, to ask permission to tell someone what they're doing sucks. A lot of people just start giving advice and start telling people what to do. We need to ask permission to make sure it's okay, because then the person knows that you're coming from a place of respect to them rather than just putting your viewpoint on them. Too often feedback is unwarranted. I'm sure we know that from the internet now. People feel like they have the right to comment on absolutely everything and have no considerations of the context. We need to be better than that and ask for permission. So we ask for permission to give feedback, and then what we do is we point out what's happening. Hey, so-and-so, whatever you want to do is totally fine, totally understand that. What I have noticed in the past and what I've noticed in this coaching experience is that you have a tendency to do this. It's not going to be the best thing for you because every single time you push back and wait for something to happen, has it ever worked before? Has something else just come up as another problem, another circumstance that you have to deal with that pushes back that goalpost further again? And most people will say, yeah, that really has. And then what you do at that point is you give someone a micro habit, a tiny habit. If you've read BJ Fogg or you've read James Clear's book, you'd be very familiar with these. You give someone something really small that they can do each day, just like a little daily minimum. For most people, I give a 10-minute walk. Like if you can walk 10 minutes in a day, great. You know what you're not doing? Sitting down the whole damn day. A 10-minute walk added up over the course of a year, that adds up to a lot of walking. So all of these tiny habits build up over time. And if a person can just take that time to carve 10 minutes out of their day, even 5 minutes, if that's too hard, 5 minutes out of their day to implement that tiny habit, that atomic habit, they're going to find that they're going to be able to at least not lose everything that they've had fitness-wise. And if they feel okay, add a set of kettlebell deadlifts. Oh, cool, you feel good? Do a plank. That's it. That's all that you want to do. Now, from our perspective, we may not be working with them anymore because they're not doing training as such. They're not going to be using us, and that's absolutely fine. Our goal is to help them rather than just to fill our pockets. So make sure you give your clients who are in this situation something concrete to do and follow up on them even if they're not paying you, because these are the clients who are going to remember you in 3 months time, 4 months time, 6 months time, 1 year's time. I've had one come back after 3 years asking for help because no one else has actually put in that kind of focus or care on them, and all people really want to do is feel cared for. So guys, there's some advice to what you do when you've got a client who's very ambivalent to change and wants everything, all their ducks to fall in a row before they start doing anything. Thanks heaps.